Okay, now it's happening. Just to review, I started talking before the recording, before I hit the record button. So it was just like a 5-minute snippet of a review of the last class at the end, where I talked about the stages of digestion, where it starts with kapha, in the middle is pitta, and at the end of digestion is vata. So you can read more about that on page 261. But yes, let's get to your question, Kim. This is a really good question, and it helps you to apply your Ayurvedic principles, because once you understand Ayurveda, you can kind of figure out the answers. So that, I bet you probably already know. What is the electron? What dosha?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, because you asked the question, you wanted to break down proton, neutron, and electron in terms of kapha, pitta, and vata, the doshas, right?
Yeah. Well, I would guess that electron would be kapha, but I don't know if that's, no?
No, but if you studied the principles of the way the cells work, you know the electron is the one that's busy moving all around, right?
Oh, right, yes,
it's going from cell to cell. And
that wouldn't be, that would be vata.
That would be vata. Yeah.
I forgot my cellular anatomy.
It's okay. It was a long time ago. And then the proton is kapha and the neutron is pitta. So I hope you understand that all makes sense, that vata, pitta, and kapha are everywhere in the universe and right down to the microscopic levels of our tissues. Okay. So yeah, Renee, pitta. No, not if you were saying electron is pitta. No, the electron is actually prana. So it's like vata. It will create prana in the body. So electricity basically is a sort of strange version of prana. And the electron is what connects everything. So it's the wind between all the other parts of the cell. Okay, so Jane, yes, electric is what made me think of vata. Oh, good. Yes, so you're thinking in those terms. That's good. That's what I want to see. The ability to have critical thinking as far as having new lenses for viewing the world in an Ayurvedic way, which really, it almost sounds like a religion or something, but it's really not. It's a scientific way, a very ancient earth science that is based on, natural law. So if you can see the world through the lenses of natural law, then it's not about religion or calling it Ayurvedic or anything. It's just basically understanding the laws of nature. Okay, so we are looking at, I think I got to page 62 somehow, but I'm going to get over here to 61. So the stages of digestion. The first stage is sweet, and it happens here in the mouth with bodhaka kapha. So you all know that the first stage begins with the tongue and the saliva, because saliva is the bodhaka kapha, and without saliva we can't taste our food and we can't begin the digestive process, and that taste will actually send a signal to the brain that food is coming, so that the brain can prepare the other stages for the food to come. So the sour stage is where we have the hydrochloric acid. And you can think of sour in terms of pitta, knowing that the sour taste is going to increase pitta, which is why Dr. Ladd gives a lime or a lemon, but lime preferably because it has a sweet post-digestive effect, and lemon doesn't. So he chooses lime over lemon to prevent pitta imbalance, and that sour taste, if you especially soak it in ginger, will stimulate hydrochloric acid. So it starts to support the second stage of the digestive process, the sour stage. So the sour stage, if you think about it, acid feeds the fire. So the sour taste is feeding the fire. Sour taste will increase acid. So I hope that makes sense. That's when I kind of got it. It clicked for me when I heard someone say that acid feeds the fire. It's food for the fire. Just like wind is food for the fire, acid is food for the fire. And, and I also want to mention, while we're here in the sour stage, it's very common for people to come to you, as a counselor. They're coming for help with psoriasis or skin rashes, skin problems. I have found that just removing the sour taste in skin problems helps 50%. Anything else that they do, it's not so effective, but that particular application has been really, really effective with, really stubborn acne and eczema and psoriasis, just taking out all sour foods, because somehow that sour taste triggers something into the rasa dhatu, the lymphatic and the fluid part of the body. It just sends the sour taste right in there and increases pitta and goes to the skin. So that's something that you might want to take a note of, that really I found helpful. Okay, so moving on to the next stage, the salty stages, when the pyloric valve opens and food enters the duodenum. And the duodenum, I always wondered what it was, but its greatest function is if your gallbladder is taken out or removed, the duodenum actually will take over. So that's good to know. If you have no gallbladder, you have a duodenum, you're good to go. You always have an energy gallbladder too. And Amber just wrote, oh, okay, Donia, it's very drying. What's very drying? The sour taste? I don't know what you mean. I'm looking to see where I was with that. Anyways, I was a little late to your chat, so I don't know what was very drying. And then Amber said, thank you, my son is suffering from serious pitta agni. Oh, that's awful. We want good agni. So, so he's high pitta. So then Donia says yes to limes. Oh, limes are drying. Yes, they can actually cut mucus. The acid in the lime juice can actually cut the mucus. So if you have sinus infection, for example, and you drink that limeade, you'll notice right away, you'll get a clearing of the mucus, because the acid from the sour taste in the lime will help to liquefy, I'll say, the mucus, which I don't know necessarily if it's drying, but yes, I guess the end result would be that it dries up the sinuses, yeah. Okay, so we're looking at the next level of digestion is the pungent taste. Or did I skip the salty taste? No. Okay, so, I wanted to mention to you about the hydrochloric acid. We all want hydrochloric acid. We need that. That's responsible for Jathar Agni, the actual digestive fire. And a lot of us are missing a lot of hydrochloric acid. And a result of that would be, what do you call, reflux, acid reflux. And you would think, oh, it's too much acid, but it's actually not enough hydrochloric acid in the body, and it's struggling and reaching up into the esophagus, and going out of its home, because it doesn't know where to go, and it's so weak and small. So we want to strengthen hydrochloric acid when somebody has acid reflux, and a good way to do that without disturbing pitta, so that's the trick, is to stimulate hydrochloric acid without disturbing pitta. How do you do that? I have some stuff here I want to show you. I have, I bought this on Amazon.com, and it's called H2Go, and it's leaking because I put too much water in it. And it's a water filter for alkaline water. And you can drink alkaline water and drink a lot of green powders that will help alkalize your blood and kindle Agni at the same time, so that it will cool you down. So this alkaline water will cool the bad pitta, and the green drinks will cool the bad pitta. But at the same time, you will be kindling Agni, because the green drinks actually do that. And let me show you what this cool thing just came in the mail the other day. They sent that bottle to me with this little thing. And it's a tester. So I decided to test my water in Newport, and I put 2 drops, like they said, in a glass, and my water came out to be somewhere between the green and the blue right there. So it wasn't too bad. It was sort of neutral. And then when I put the 2 drops in the filtered water, the new filter that I got, it actually came out to right between here, the blue and the purple. It's really quite remarkable. Huge transformation in the water. So now I'm starting to reduce my acid, my pitta, and building my digestive fire. And also you can do ginger tea. Ginger tea will build your digestive fire without increasing acid. Do I have anything else here? Oh, if you don't want to buy that filter, I think $60 on Amazon. And you can just I love it because you can take it with you to, where you go to, away for the weekend, or I love it, or a yoga class. You just grab your water. You don't have to buy any bottled water, and you kind of save money on plastic, and you just keep using the same plastic. And let me get this other one. This one, if you don't want to buy that thing on Amazon, this water like this at Whole Foods, and you just look at the bottom and it says pH of 8.8. So you want something around that pH, and that will help reduce the acid, the bad pitta, and increase the good, strong digestive fire. Okay, I hope I helped with that. Those are little things that are not in the book that I hope I can help you with. And now we're going into the salty stage. I already told you about. Goes into the duodenum. And there's something really important about salt. I want to talk about that because we do get enough salt in our diet, but we're not getting enough right salt, the good salts. And I want to talk to you about how salt will actually increase your prana. So we want prana in our body. Prana is the life force. And salt, the right salt, is extremely healing to the body and won't disturb pitta. The wrong salt will disturb pitta. So what's the wrong salt? Anyone know? I hear Jane used to drink hot lemonade when sinus was bothering her. Okay, yeah, good. And Amber is also a metal stick to put in the water to alkalize. Oh yeah, I saw that. I never thought to actually try it, but maybe I will if you think it works. A metal stick that you put into water to alkalize it for $20 on Amazon. I was looking at that. Good to know. Yeah, so Karuna's saying iodized salt. Bleached, iodized, mostly white bleached salt, table salt that you find in restaurants. That is toxic. That will cause high blood pressure and bloating and increase pitta, because we know that pitta has water and fire. And whenever we're swelling up with water, we know that pitta has increased, or kapha, but generally if it's from salt, it's a pitta increase. So I have a great website to share with you about salts, and it changed my whole view on salts, because our whole society has been programmed, brainwashed to think that salts are going to cause high blood pressure, and everyone's like, no salt, like they're doing no gluten, no salt, no salt added. And that's pretty sad, because the power of salt should not be underestimated. It has really good benefits if we do it right. So I'm going to send you this link right now, and it's a website about the power of salt, and this man has a grip on prana, but he doesn't use the word prana. He uses electricity. Let me find it. Where is it? His name is Dr. Robert Young, and to me he's a legend, and he is all about alkalizing the blood, alkalizing the system, green drinks, green everything, and his site is profound, really effective, and I got to stay with him for 10 days and learn from him in his ranch in California. So here's the link, and the video I'm recommending is called Will It Light, and he did this experiment between sugar and salt, and he dipped something in this salt water and then dipped something in the sugar water, and to see what happened in a scientific way. It was a great experiment, and he proved right there that we will die without salt. We need salt, and how very important it is to our system, and understanding it on a different level. Okay, moving on. Let's see, yeah, pungent. Pungent state. The pungent state happens in the jejunum, and this is still pitta. So you notice that the 3 stages we've just covered, sour, salty, and pungent, those are tastes that will increase pitta. So we're still in the middle part of the body working with pitta as we're digesting, but air starts to come in here. So fire and air start to to merge, and the pungent taste is yielded into the rasa dhatu, and it does start to digest proteins and fats and carbohydrates. Then we have the bitter stage, which is getting even closer to ether and air, the vata stage, the last stage. Now, the bitter stage is interesting because it will increase the light quality in the body. So light quality is governed by Mars, and it's just an aside here that is sort of important because it's one of those only attributes or gunas that is shared by Pitta and Vata. And the light quality, and I'm not talking about light as in heavy, I'm talking about the luminous sort of radiant quality of Vata and Pitta, is the light quality, which is governed by Mars, and that can be irritated and increased, exacerbated, accumulated by, invidiated by bitter food like, what can you think of bitter food? Coffee, black coffee in particular. I think we went over this before. Radicchio, arugula. Can't think of anything bitter off the top of my head. If anyone else can think of bitter, yeah, it's important that you, for me, I didn't know that the light quality in my body was so sensitive. So I only found that out years after I graduated from bitter melon. Yes, thank you, Renee. From the Ayurvedic Institute, I was all focused on Pitta. Oh, I have to propitiate Pitta. I have to fix Pitta, no hot foods, and that was all I focused on. I didn't understand the deeper part of the attributes and the gunas. So Pitta can be broken down into a light quality, which involves air. So fire and air create light quality, and for me, I needed to eat for lightness, not for Pitta. So for me, it was not healthy for me to eat lettuce or salad, and this could apply to a lot of you actually, and I'll know once I get your Jyotish charts going. I haven't been able to do those charts, and they're coming, but I'm launching the school, and Chelsea's father just died, unfortunately, and just like 2 days ago, so my workload just doubled and tripled, and it's sad that it had to happen during the holidays. So I'm just going to be a little behind, I think, because that she's going to need all that time off, and I have to take care of her to-do list. So I will get your Jyotish charts to you, and it's going to be really fascinating. If your physical body is governed by Mars, then you know that you may also have to work on the light quality of not getting too much light quality in your diet, which is, like I said, lettuce and airy foods like popcorn, especially popcorn because it's heat, which is corn, and it's popped with air. So that's why Dr. Ladd actually told me in my pulse that I should never have popcorn. And it was the only food he told me I should never have. And that's, it took me a while to figure out exactly why he said that. And that was because the light quality in my body was really sensitive, and I could easily accumulate that from food. So I started eating cooling, sweet, grounding root vegetables, and I found a miraculous change in my health. It took my health to the next level because I really did experience healing at the Ayurvedic Institute from knowing that I had fire imbalance. So I chose foods that would cool me, but not that would ground me or remove the air, light quality. So that was secondary. It took me a couple of years to figure that out after I graduated. So I want to point that out to you. So I'm careful about bitter foods with me. And then the last stage is astringent. Okay, so that is full out in the large intestines. Someone have a question?
Karen?
Yeah.
I do. Because on green drinks are okay with what you just said, but not because they're liquid.
I'm not sure I understand.
So you just said that you changed your diet to grounding rooted vegetables that were sweet and cooling.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the earlier discussion about Pitta and increasing the hydrochloric acid. And I was thinking that the green drinks, maybe is the light effect is negated by the liquid.
Oh, yes, that's true. It is because you added the liquid quality to that food, made it moist, and that can remove air. So that will pacify if we do the principles of opposites. Yes, it pacifies the light quality. It's great. It's one of the greatest things for my body is to have a green drink, and for most people, really. But if you have light quality, it actually, there's one drink in particular, a green drink from Donna Gates Body Ecology called Super Green Vitality. I literally drink that and get goosebumps after. I chill up. So it's so cooling. It is mind-blowing, and it's very expensive, though, so I don't get to always have it. Good question, Amber. I like how you're thinking. And Dandelion, you're welcome. And Dandelion from Kimberly. Yeah, Dandelion is fantastic for, and green tea, I think, is bitter. Yeah, green tea. So to some degree, green tea is okay, but just like I said, if you have a sensitive Mars or Mars Lord of your chart, that's when you know you're going to need to propitiate or soften and put more attention on foods that are grounding. Okay, moving on. Sweet potatoes are one of my best foods, actually, that heal me, that are sweet and grounding because they're a root vegetable. Okay, and I think that's it. So the pungent taste, can anyone think of pungent foods? Green tea is astringent. Yes, it is. So a pungent food would be ginger and onions. Anything that just, wakes you up. That's a pungent food because that will wake up the kapha in the body. So let's talk about the attributes and the foods. Now, this is really good stuff because it's one thing to memorize Vata, Pitta, and Kapha diet and walk around. That's what I did for like 2 years. I carried my Vata, Pitta, Kapha diet that was given to me at the Ayurvedic Institute in my purse, and I literally would go to the restaurant and read, the menu, and then read my chart and see what food I could have. And doing that enough was good because I started to memorize it. But then I started to think, I got to figure this out on my own. There must be some logic to this. And by breaking it down into the gunas, into the attributes, then you don't need that list. You actually get it. Like it starts to become like second nature. So let's look at the heavy quality of kapha, actually, because kapha has heavy quality. Can you think of a heavy food? Karen, when we talk about all these foods and needing to add them to our diet, are we talking adding them to every meal, or we need to at least 1 serving per day is enough? Okay, so that is another great question. But again, all these kind of questions will always get the same answer. It depends on who. So somebody who's extremely imbalanced in the light quality, I would put them on root vegetables at least twice a day, lunch and dinner if they could. And it wouldn't be too much for them. It would be really good for them. But somebody who's just slightly imbalanced, I might give them root vegetables 4 times a week, like that. Did that answer your question, Donia? Just let me know. Yes, okay, good. Okay, now we got Kim. You may have answered while I was on the phone. I'm not sure what that is. Amber, heavy foods, meat and cheese, yes. And that's pretty simple. You can figure it out. Dairy is one of the best examples of heavy quality. And Donia, yes. Okay, that was a yes from Donia. Okay, then we go to cold. The cold quality is what food would be represented by what food, do you think? Besides an actual cold food, it's simple like sushi or something. Previous part of my statement was above, Kimberly. Let me look at the above. Hold on. Kimberly from Connie asked what you thought about green tea. It was also astringent and bitter. Oh, so yeah, it's both. It's pretty good for pitta, actually, as long as you don't have too much light quality. And what happens when I drink a lot of green tea is light quality is so sensitive in my body that I literally get spaced out, and I feel dizzy. And if I put my head below my heart and I come up too fast, I feel like I'm going to pass out. That's what green tea does to me. And I was drinking green tea just before I met you, before we came in on the chat, so I could get a little energy. I have this great little roasted green tea thing that the green tea is so much better when you do it in the French press. And it will help actually you to lose weight because it will actually, increase lightness. So when you want to lose weight, you want to increase lightness, right? You don't want to increase heaviness. I had noticed that if I do nothing else, and this is my secret, top secret, someone should research this for proof, because it's true for me, 100%. Is if I do nothing else, like don't change my diet and don't change my exercise habits, and I just increase green tea 2 or 3 times a day, within a week, I've dropped 3 pounds. That's so weird. So, but Ayurvedically, it makes total sense. Okay, so let's look at the oily quality. Oh, we didn't talk about cold. Wheat, mint, milk. Milk will chill you up. Even if you warm it, it has a cool vipak, which is post-digestive effect, and will cool you down. But not dairy, not yogurt, not the sour dairy, but just plain dairy will cool you down. The sour dairy, the yogurt and the kefir will heat you up to some degree. Okay, the slow quality, it's meat, yogurt, and tofu, but I also think of cheese, because cheese melts slowly. So when you start thinking of foods in terms of gunas, you look at the food in a different way other than its calories. It's about the attribute of the food. If cheese is going to go slow to melt and only melts in the heat, then if you just slap that on your body without heating it up with exercise, it's just going to sit there. So that would be the slow quality, which is what dosha? It belongs to which dosha, the slow quality, as each dosha has 7 attributes, right? Kapha, yes, good. So the slow quality comes from the kapha dosha, and if you're trying to lose weight, you want to get rid of all slow foods. Okay, so stable, ghee, dry grains, and dry beans. The stable quality. Yeah, that's true about ghee. I'm not so sure about dry beans. I don't know where he's getting that. Beans are kind of jumpy. I don't know, maybe that's a typo. Anyway, so I'm in the book here. Under slimy, yogurt, this is obvious, and avocado and ghee, the slimy quality. Now, we want the slimy quality for what conditions? If somebody comes to you for a specific kind of condition, complaint, why would you want to give them slimy food? Yeah, honey is stable. Yeah. Constipation, very good, Jane. Constipation. Eczema, you gotta be careful with eczema, because eczema can, the oily quality belongs to slimy quality, kind of categorize them in the same place, and oily foods irritate eczema and all kinds of skin conditions. So you gotta be careful with that. But people who come in with dry, cracking joints, arthritis, dry mouth, dry eyes, that is when you would increase slimy quality. Give them more avocados and evening primrose and flax and all that. Even black cumin seed oil is good. So the dense quality, we've got cheese, meat, coconut. That's pretty simple to understand. We don't want to be dense, do we? We want to be light. That's what, all of us strive for, because it seems like America is so overweight. So to avoid dense foods would be a good thing, unless you are extremely catabolic or anorexic or something. Soft foods, ghee, avocados, and oils again. So on some level, though, fats will actually burn fats. So there are certain fats that will actually, like there's something in kefir, I forget what fat it is, gamma-linolic acid, but it's actually a fat, actually burns fat. So there's some prabhav to this. The prabhav is that mystery unexplained. The science behind it you can't prove, but it just is so. So that's prabhav. And so that would be something that would, if you're just looking at Ayurveda really black and white, you might not understand that. But it is true that if you have the right fats, then you can burn fat with the right fats. And a really good book about fats is called it's Udo Erasmus, Healing. Fats That Kill and Fats That Heal. Fats That Kill and Fats That Heal. That book kind of changed my life. I read that book and I ate it up. Oh,
Karen?
yeah.
I just got some kefir grains and I'm starting to make kefir now, but in general, I'm always confused about when it's okay to eat dairy and when it's not, and when is it a good time and when it's not, and can I combine it with fruit or can I not? Can you just give me like a quick suggestion for that?
Yes, I'll get to your question too, Jane. But like I said before, I can't do a general thing that would apply specifically to you. But I can give you some sort of like some information about it that you can apply to yourself and see if it works. For me, I know that I can't have kefir when I'm PMSing because I'm pretty clogged at that point. I'm so ready for a cleanse. I'm so ready to release the menstrual blood, the pitta that needs to come out of me, that if I have anything that's clogging at that time, heavy quality or fiery quality, my liver will become clogged and the kefir will clog the liver. So any kind of liver disorder is when you want to avoid kefir. And you kind of just use your intuition too. Like if it's a day that is dry and clear and sunny, you're feeling like you have good digestive fire, liver is happy, it's daytime, then kefir. You never want to have any dairy ever at night because it actually causes the blood platelets to stick together. So sticky quality will start to increase in the body, and you don't want your blood platelets to stick together because that will lower your immune system. So dairy should always be during the daylight when Agni is high and the sun is high, except if you want to do like warm turmeric, shatavari milk at night to help you fall asleep, that would be acceptable. But thick, heavy dairy, especially the sour taste, like kefir, should be eaten during the day, and like I said, not so much before menstruation because it will increase breast tenderness because dairy has affinity for the breast tissue. It should be avoided if you have cystic mastitis. What was the other question you had? Kefir grains, what?
It was just like, it's plain kefir. I'm making it at home. And in my mind, I was like, oh, well, I can make this into a smoothie, or what would be the best way to eat it? But I don't want to eat it plain.
Okay, so sour foods like yogurt and kefir actually mix really well with acid fruits, only acid fruits. So blueberries are great. Now, strawberries are acid, but they're nightshade. And I remember one time I went crazy because I'm compulsive obsessive about food, especially fresh strawberries, and I went strawberry picking. And I was on that kefir kick I told you about where I was making kefir pancakes, kefir everything, kefir cupcakes, anything I could put kefir in, I did. And I was eating kefir with fresh strawberries and maple syrup for about 2 weeks during the season of May, where all these strawberries were fresh and ripe at Sweetberry Farm here. I had the worst rash. I had huge outbreak of welts on my face, acne, and my joints were on fire. I didn't know what happened to me. I was perplexed. It was the end of the 2 weeks, and I finally had to think about, well, what have I been doing that's so unusual? And I realized what I had been doing was, eating strawberry season, going strawberry picking and combining it, and it's a nightshade, so it will affect your joints and give you joint pain, seriously. So combining a nightshade with the sour taste in the yogurt, which goes right to the liver and increases pitta, it was knocking me out because I was enjoying every bit of it, loving it. I still wish I could have it. And every now and then I'll let myself have a little strawberry with kefir, but it's not a very good combination if you have high pitta or skin conditions ever. So, we use blueberries, and silver goes really well with milk. So colloidal silver, put some of that in your dairy. Dairy and silver love each other. And rose water is delicious in dairy. And did I say maple syrup? Honey's okay. It will help take it will dry out the liquid quality of the heavy quality as well. And let me think, there's something else. Rose water. Oh, mango. So mango is acidic. So any fruit that's acidic, even a pineapple that's not really, really sweet, it has an acidic taste to it, is good to put in kefir. Okay, so moving on. Cloudy. Cloudy is simple. You guys get that. Gross and cloudy, actually, similar. So yogurt is cloudy. Cheese is cloudy. You eat yogurt and cheese all day, you will have cloudy thinking. Cloudy blood platelets. Sticky cloudy. Going on to light. Oh, here it is. So rice does create the light quality in the body. Just think about it when you cook the rice and you look at the grains after it's been cooked in the pan. Doesn't it look like they're just floating on top of each other? That light quality is there, and each grain has this expanded quality after it's been dried and then cooked, and that looks light. So this is where you can apply your own intellect on what are the gunas of this food. Popcorn, sprouts, ginger, hot chili peppers will increase hot. Obviously, alcohol increases the hot quality. And eggs actually do. The actual part of the egg that increases the hot quality is the yolk. And dry is a good one if you have high pitta. You want dry quality. Honey is dry. Millet, rice, and dry cereal. The sharp quality is chili peppers, ginger, mustard, and and that'd be great for a dull kapha person that comes in and they're talking slow and they're trying to lose weight. You want to just kind of, get them to, sharpen up and, wake up, stimulate the kapha that is so heavy and slow. And that increasing sharp quality in their diet would be fantastic for them, and removing slow quality. So mobile quality, popcorn again, alcohol and sprouts. Rough quality. Now this is really actually, if you think about it, people think, oh, I'm constipated because I don't have enough roughage. It's not true. So you can have a vata type of constipation by too much roughage, believe it or not. So, and you probably have all experienced this. Try taking psyllium husk in some water, and not enough actually. Water even makes it worse. But, some people just clog right up from the psyllium husk, and it actually is indicated for diarrhea. It will bind the stool. So you got to be careful with how much roughage you actually take. It will constipate you. So salad will cause rough quality and bloating, and 100% of the time, if you have a salad, you're going to have gas within 2 or 3 hours later. So if you're going on a hot date or you're going somewhere that you don't want to pass gas, do not have a salad. Do not have popcorn and raw vegetables either if you're going to be in the crowd or on a bus or, in a place where there's tight quarters, because you won't be able, you'll be in trouble with that. And liquid quality. Milk, fruit juice, vegetable juice, that's pretty simple. You got that hard quality would be almonds. And this is interesting. So almonds are anabolic. Did you know that? So people who are bodybuilders trying to increase muscle mass and the hardness of their body, the anabolic quality of the body, they drink a lot of almond milk and eat almonds. If you want to gain weight, almonds are anabolic. Believe it or not, you will gain weight from almonds. Coconut, sesame seeds, yes. But that weight will be hard weight, though. So if you want to gain weight and be, if you're a guy and you're trying to put on muscle mass, go ahead with the almonds. And it is a precursor to ojas, too. So almonds have a lot of good qualities, especially if you take the skins off. The skins actually have enzymes in them that inhibit digestion of the actual almond. So they're very difficult to digest with the skins on, so they need to be soaked and blanched and all that. Subtle quality, ghee, honey, and alcohol. And the clear quality, algae, vegetable, fresh water. Yeah, so that's why it's really nice in the morning, first thing, have some clear water or some lime water. And that will clear you, because you wake up kind of crusty-eyed and kind of, where am I? And you want that clear quality. So the first thing in the morning you should do is drink that warm water, liquid water, or limeade to bring you the clear quality, wake you up without having to grab a coffee. Okay, where are we now? We are Oh, Jane, would soft foods be good for those who have muscle problems? Soft foods who have muscle problems. I need to know what kind of muscle problems, if they're inflamed muscle condition or were they atrophied muscle problems. I would need to know more details. Okay, so let's go back to the exam. I find that's really helpful to go back because we all have to take that exam and we really want to know what we're doing on the exam when we get there. And, oh, James said inflamed bus driver shoulders. What was the soft? Yeah, soft food actually would be okay. Yeah, so inflamed muscles come from the fire element, which is, hot and liquid. So something soft and cool would help with inflamed joints, soft and cool. Yeah, you're welcome. So we're on question 20. A good way to combine food. We talked about that. Cooking food over a fire together in one pot will help them become friendly and digest really well together. And then the next one was, what is the Sanskrit term that describes the nutrition of the tissues? And the correct answer to that, I think this might be a problem because I have it highlighted in aqua. And I gave these to my web guy, Brian, to fix online. And I think he did it, but just in case, you can write down number 21 is B, Dhatu Poshanam. Okay. Kimberly, I have a question about turmeric, which seems warming to me, and it's inflammatory action. Is it prabhav? Yes, it is prabhav. It's one of those magical things. Turmeric is, sort of mystical and auspicious. It's so auspicious that some people carry a turmeric root in India in their pocket for luck. And the turmeric actually, if you take it over a period of 3 months, then it will accumulate pitta. The first 3 months, it will not accumulate pitta. It will increase digestive fire in a healthy way and reduce inflammation. So that's a good question. Okay. You're welcome. So we're looking at number 22. Which are the digestive disorders? What are nutritional disorders? Quantitative and qualitative overnutrition. So let me look at page 22 and we'll review that so that you can get the answers. We might not have gone that far, actually. No, I didn't go that far. I just went up to 19. So let's see. I don't want to give you the answers, so maybe we won't. We'll just review these, and I'll read you the answer, so it will stimulate your mind. So while we're talking, you can be listening for the answer. So which are nutritional disorders? Quantitative and qualitative overnutrition, or quantitative dietary deficiency and qualitative dietary deficiency, or both? The elements associated with the astringent tastes are, we went over that. Do you remember what those elements were as far as astringent tastes? What doshas? If you know what doshas belong to the astringent taste, then you know what elements. Then you'll know the answer right there. You only have to look it up in the book. Each stage of digestion takes approximately, we talked about this, the stages of digestion, how long kapha took, that's the first stage, how long pitta took, and how long vata took. And then it gives options of 90 minutes, 60 minutes, or 45 minutes. And it's an approximate question, so you'll know the answer to that if you remember what I said earlier. The order of digestion is, and remember I gave you the order of the body, so that's the same thing as the order of digestion. Remember I told you the body is broken into 3, so this is kapha up here, and then there's pitta in the middle, and then vata is at the bottom, where the root chakra is, and the large intestines. So if you can know that deep, put it in long-term memory, then you won't have to look up that question. You'll get the answer. And then vipaka. Can anyone tell me what vipaka means? Anyone know that? Did I go over that? I think I did. Oh, Renee says, what about turmeric milk? Can I take it every day? Yes, you can do it every day. It's so good for you. And actually, Dr. John Douillard did a study on turmeric milk, and he said it is the best way to 100% absorb turmeric. He said that turmeric in a powdered form, in a capsule or a tablet, is pretty hard to digest. You can get maybe 60% of it into the bloodstream and for it to work in the body. But if you put the powder in warm milk, it's tricky though. It's not so simple. You have to heat the milk up, to a boiling or simmering point, and then add the turmeric, because the turmeric has essential fatty acids in it that are destroyed by the heat. You don't want that destruction. You want to have the essential fatty acids in there, but you want it to yet be warm. So you put it in sort of at the end of simmering the milk, and then you strain it. You put it in a little teacup with the strainer, and you strain that out. You can add a little honey if you want, or and that's when you add honey to the cup, not the milk, not the pot, because you never cook honey over fire, or a little maple syrup, and that is the best way, the best 100% way to get turmeric in the body. Good question. And saffron, oh yum, saffron is so yummy. Believe it or not, yeah.
What about fresh turmeric? Should you not use that, or?
No, you can do that. I juice it sometimes. I will juice it when I feel the light quality in my body.
But not in milk?
No, I never did that before. Maybe you could shave it, or, what do you call it? Grate it.
Grate it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you might be able to do that. And since then it would take the dry quality out. So I wonder, dry quality with ginger, it might be the same effect. You know how I told you ginger dry is pitogenic, but ginger fresh is not? I'm pretty willing to bet that turmeric has that same principle, so that turmeric dry would be more pitogenic and fresh ginger would be less. So I put it, just a little bit of it in my juice. When I make a juice, I juice it up. And only though not in the summer, and try to do it when I feel like it's the right time. Okay, moving on. Did anyone know what VIPAC is? Oh, post-digestive effect. Very good, Jane. Thank you. It's the post-digestive effect. And this is the principle missing in Western nutrition. Go to a nutritionist and they'll give you a list of foods that, they think you'll lose weight because of their caloric properties. And it's not about calories. It's actually about how does that food treat the large intestines. Like, what happens in the large intestines when that food is eaten? That right there will be your telling factor on, is this food going to make me gain weight or lose weight? All of it, the rasa vira and the VIPAC will be indicators of that. But the VIPAC is very, very important as far as, if you're going to lose weight or not. Because that is where the kapha, or not kapha, but astringent taste, pungent is. Okay, let's see. Sweet taste increases what dosha? Anyone know what the sweet taste increases? They give you malarkey, kapha. Who gives you malarkey?
Western nutritionists.
Yes, I do. Yes, it's so funny. I love that word. I haven't heard that word in a long time, malarkey. It's a good word. Yeah, I just don't want to waste I wouldn't want anyone to waste their money going there to just count their calories and not get a balanced diet, because it's all about balance. Okay, I don't know that question. I think there's a typo. Katu contains. Does anyone know what that is? I don't know what that is. I think it might be a typo. Katu contains which element? Kim, do you know if there's some Sanskrit word that I didn't see that's katu, or is that a typo? Sweet increases kapha. Thank you, Jane. Make a note on number 28 that there might be a typo there, because I don't know what katu is. Katu. That's baffling. Okay, the bitter taste, the bitter flavor.
Is this astringent or pungent? I looked it up.
Katu?
Yeah, I just took the test before. I'll look it up again and I'll get back to you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks. I've never heard that word. I don't remember it in my studies. Katu. So a student made this example. What'd you say?
Pungent taste.
Okay, well, it's giving you
air and fire.
It's well then pungent. That's tricky because yeah, fire and air. So it was giving me elements as an option, not necessarily tastes. So the options are fire and air, and that would be the answer that would equal pungent. Thank you so much, Renee. Okay, bitter flavor. We talked about bitter. We're not going to go over that. And the virya. Anyone know what virya means? Jane knew what vipak was. What's virya? Is very similar to vipak, very close. The virya. What is the virya of a food? It's actually, the virya is in the middle. It's the energy, strength, power, potency, and the active quality of the food. So that the virya is sort of in the pitta section of the body, and the vipak is in the large intestines at the end, and the rasa begins in the mouth. So we need to know those three things about foods before we really understand food and the attributes and the gunas of food to really wrap your head around food. And food is medicine, so it's a pretty important subject for you guys to understand. Yes, Renee, energy, potency, thank you. Okay, I'm going to close this exam out. Move on to my lesson plan, which is next. Oh, this is so cool. How to eat balanced diet handout. We could do that, or we could review the other exam that you have to take. Let me see. I have that opened. I'll take a vote. Tell me, do you want to go over this other exam? I kind of like going over exams when I have to take one. I like to just kind of know what's coming up. And, I'm not going to give you the answers, but just so that your mind starts percolating. And then we can review. It's actually something Mike Dick wrote, and it's also in the book, too. And these are amazing things to know. They should really be taught in school, what I'd like to review with you. So tell me, anybody. Exam. Okay, Donia. Please go me golo. Review, please. Me golo. Okay. Okay, let's look at this exam. I got 2 people saying exam. Go to exam. Okay. All right, so according to Ayurveda, health is the balance between what, as well as the 7 what, and the 3 what. Oh, that's a good question. I'll do it again. So your mind will start thinking. According to Ayurveda, health is the balance between the what, as well as the 7, which is a clue, what, and the 3 what. BPK, a balance between BPK, yes, and the tissues or the dhatus, yes. And then the 3 malas. Malas are the waist. Very good. You guys are good. I'm loving it. Okay. But I'm not supposed to give the answers away. But that one was a really fun question. I like that question. This stage of health is aided by robust, balanced digestive fire, also known as, you guys know this. You guys have this. Somebody has to have this. Thank you, Donia. Yes. In this perfect state of health and quality of blank predominates the mind. In the mind. In this perfect state of health, the quality of blank predominates in the mind. So I'm going to just say it's one of the gunas. I'm not going to tell you the answer because I've already given 2 answers away. So Rajas, Tamas, or Sattva. So let that percolate. Which one is the one that creates perfect state of health and would predominate the mind in the perfect healthy mind? Which dosha governs metabolism? This is simple. You have this one too. So I'm not gonna tell you the answer. I think you have it. Pitta changes food and what into energy, heat, and vitality with the aid of Agni. So Pitta changes food and blank into energy, heat, and vitality, and with the aid of Agni. And here are the answer options: thought, mala, or meda. The process, so don't send the answers out. Just be thinking. This is just sort of a way to challenge your mind, stay on track with the chapter, and once you get to the exam, you'll find it much easier to take the exam and find the answers in the book if you have to, or not. I think you guys have a lot of this already. So the process of creating, growing, and repairing cells is known as catabolism, anabolism, or activism. And I think you have that. I think I might have told you that, but it's in the book. The dosha most prevalent from puberty through middle age is kapha, pitta, or vata. I think you have that. The dosha most prevalent from birth through the teen years is kapha, pitta, or vata. And number 9 might be a problem because I have it highlighted in aqua again. So I'm going to give you the answer to number 9. You can make a note. I don't know if Brian corrected it. He probably did. The process of breaking larger molecules into smaller ones is known as A, catabolism, B, anabolism, or C, hacktivism. I just gave that away. That was a funny option. So A, catabolism, or B, anabolism, the process of breaking larger molecules into smaller ones. Anyone know that answer, A or B? Who's with us? 774. What is that? Is that you, Jerry? 774. Is that you, Valerie? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's me. It's Jerry.
Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I bet you know the answer to this. Catabolism and anabolism.
Jerry.
Jerry. Hey, I think you got the answer to this one. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
Hey, am I coming through?
Yeah, you're coming through. You're coming through. Oh, Renee gave the answer, so you're off the hook. Catabolism. So the process of breaking larger molecules into smaller ones is known as catabolism. So anything that is catabolic will break down. So when you're trying to lose weight, you would assign people catabolic food. So I actually taught a workshop just based on these 2 principles. It's pretty important principles. Catabolic food versus anabolic food. If you can just know the difference, then you can help people lose weight. Or people who are severely anemic or anorexic or depleted, old age, whatever, that need nourishment, then you would give them anabolic food. So learning about the doshas, which dosha is catabolic and which dosha is anabolic, that's a start. Then you can start using your lenses to start analyzing, is this a catabolic food or is this anabolic food? So I'll tell you right now that pitta and vata are the catabolic doshas, and kapha is an anabolic dosha. So let me see if I want to go into that a little more, but maybe not. So you would want to increase vata and pitta if you wanted to increase catabolic action in the body, which is metabolic breakdown of cells and tissues, and kapha, basically, breakdown of earth and water. So you would want to increase and give people a whole list of catabolic foods, and I think I actually had a list of those at one point. It's a great way to lose weight by increasing vata and pitta. And like I said, the opposite, you would just give somebody kapha-soothing diet, anabolic diet, if they needed nutrients, they were deficient in any way. They needed to build iron or build minerals, build supplement like vitamins and all that. You'd give them anabolic foods and supplements. Okay, moving on. The maintenance of cellular activity is known as, oh, this is easy. So catabolism, anabolism, metabolism. So I'll let you guys think about that one. Catabolism is governed by what? Oh, I just gave you the answer on that. Catabolism is governed by which dosha? So I just told you. Metabolism is governed through Agni by which dosha? I think you guys know that. You guys are going to do really well in this exam. You'll ace it. Anabolism is governed by, and I just gave you the answer on anabolism, which dosha? So that's an answer right there. And the dosha most prevalent through old age. I don't know if Barbara talked about that with you guys. It's in the book anyways, but Do you guys know that's pretty important? Because when I'm giving an Ayurvedic diet, or I'm prescribing or recommending, suggesting diet or yoga or a mantra or color or whatever, I always take into consideration their age and where, what stage of the dosha are they in, which, are they old and are they children, or, so this is very important. Did Barbara talk about that? Vata. So Renee says Vata, Jane says Vata. So what was the question? I don't even remember. Through old age. Yeah, Vata. So okay, you guys know this? Okay, good. So then we know that you're born as, a butterball turkey, just like a little juicy baby, and that's kapha all the way through age 25, maybe 30, depending on the person and their genetic constitution. They could be more kapha than somebody else, might jump right into pitta at age 25, and then pitta is the time when we get stuff done. We come here to do our dharma, whatever our life purpose is. We are productive and we get it done during the pitta stage of life until age 50, 55, again, according to the person's constitution. If they're very, very vata, they were born that way, then they might jump into the vata stage a little early, like 49. Or if somebody's very, very kapha, they would, hang out in the pitta stage until maybe 56, 58. And then we get to the vata stage of life, and that's why old people are all wrinkled and dried up. They're manifesting the gunas right through the body, and the wind element. They are covering their ears. My grandmother used to wear a kerchief, and they've got their cane, and they've got like wind in their hands, and they're trembling. That's all vata. You can see that, and so you would, you would take that to consideration. If somebody came into you in the vata stage of life, you're not going to increase vata too much for them. If it was protocol and it showed a little bit. Well, anyways, I'm not going to get into that. You just have to take into consideration everything: the season, the age, the pulse, the tongue, the genetic factors, intake on mother, father. All of that is so important. This is a whole analysis. This is why it's in a holistic system, a holistic way of treating the body, mind, and spirit. Jane, old age a little bit was talked about. Could definitely tell vata when I turned 50. Yes. Yeah, I'm starting to feel it too. I'm 51. The ancient way is Ayurvedic. The ancient way is Ayurvedic. I don't understand what you mean by that. What does that mean to you? The ancient way is Ayurvedic. I don't know. It sounds like a bumper sticker or something. Old way of healing. Yes, it is. It is a very 5,000 years old. Very old. I think it's older than 5,000. I think it's as old as the earth is. And the oldest is older than 5,000. Okay, so the doshas can be disturbed by poor diet, poor lifestyle, and poorly processed A, emotions, B, regressions, C, progressions. The doshas can be disturbed by poor diet, poor lifestyle, and poorly processed emotions, regressions, and progressions. That's pretty, you guys, I think, understand that one. You know what Dr. Ladd said about that? He said, the root cause of all cancer is unresolved emotion in the tissue. So if you're not resolving your emotions at the time that they happen, you stuff them into your tissues, and this is actually the beginning of cancer cell buildup. So it's really, really important to process your emotions immediately. Don't store them, because this is, people who do that, they just stuff them, they're going to get cancer. That's unfortunate, but that is the truth. That's why it's so important to go to a counselor, go to a therapist, talk to your best friend, do automatic writing, stream of consciousness, whatever you can do to process your emotional body. And that is why Dr. Ladd said one of the most powerful platforms for healing someone else is compassionate listening. So when we do compassionate listening, fully present for the person, looking at them in the eye, this is going to help them to resolve their emotional body, take out the crystallized emotion in the body and prevent them from having cancer. So that is one of the best healing things you can do for your friend, is compassionately listen. So never never shrink the power of a good listener. And sometimes people come to me for an Ayurvedic consultation. Honestly, they leave and I wonder, why did they come in? Because they didn't really want to do the diet. They didn't really want to do yoga. They didn't really want to do anything. And I kind of am like perplexed and think about it. And then I realized, I remember what Dr. Lab said, oh, they just needed someone to hear them, to listen. So, as a counselor, a health counselor, sometimes the best thing you can do, and it may be the only thing that you can do, you create the space for them to heal themselves by compassionately listening with your whole heart. The best healer is the best listener. People with big ears are good healers, and they're good listeners. People with little ears usually don't listen very well, so notice that. It's kind of fun. Okay, let's move on. Kimberly, primal scream. Yeah, that's true. That does feel good. And then they came into vent. Yeah, people come in to vent, and it's not like an apparent vent where they're like, going on a rant, but they want somebody to hear their point of view about their health and their whole story about how they went to this hospital and that hospital, and then they took this drug, this is what happened, and they, some people really have nobody to talk to. So, then I feel like, okay, I think I did a good job, even though they're going to continue drinking their coffee and their donut in the morning and not exercising and doing nothing that I suggested, because sometimes that's really frustrating for me, and I just wonder, what am I doing if I'm not helping people, if they're not, but it's just so powerful to listen, and I realize that I'm effective because I meet those people later, say at the YMCA or, for example, at the grocery store. They might tell me they enjoyed the consultation so much. They look at me and they light up, and they think about how good it felt for them to be heard. And then I know I did something. That's all. I really want to make sure I do something. And it gives me a sense of accomplishment and a sense of purpose in the life. And, it's a sense of fulfillment when you did something, and really all you had to do is listen. So, okay, never shrink the power of listening. Let's move on. Let's see. Our sense of well-being is our inner state of balance, rakta, or sutra. You guys have that one. One's individual constitution created at fertilization is prakriti, virya, or samsara. You guys have that one. That one's simple. One can exist on this planet. No one can exist on this planet without all three malas, sutras, or doshas. That one, you got this one. This is an easy test. These two doshas maintain the liquid quality of each other. Well, this is a little tricky, but I think you have it. These two doshas maintain the liquid quality of each other. Vata and pitta, pitta and kapha, kapha and vata. So if you know what of the 5 great pancha mahabhutas, which are the 5 great elements, which ones belong to the doshas, then you have that one down. You don't have to look it up. These two doshas maintain the cold quality of each other. Oh, this is also really good too. If you know the same principle, if you know the 5 elements and how they relate to the doshas, you can answer this question. The hot, sharp, and light of blank counteract the cold, slow, heavy of blank. I love these blank questions. The hot, sharp, and light of blank counteract the cold, slow, and heavy of blank. Okay, here are the options. Vata and pitta, pitta and kapha, kapha and vata. So it's really their dosha. The doshas are what's missing in the blanks, and I think you guys have that. Exposure to cold air first increases which dosha, causing goosebumps and shivering? I think you have that one, pretty simple. The air element, including bodily air, vata, is A, hot, B, tepid, C, cold. I think you have that one. That just is one of Vata's gunas, qualities. That's simple. Balanced Vata creates A, happiness, joy, creativity, and flexibility. B, indecision, confusion, restlessness, and fear. C, knowledge, comprehension, and appreciation. I think you know what balanced vata will create in the body. You know that one. Unbalanced pitta creates wrong judgment, prejudice, manipulation, anger, hate, envy, or right judgment, recognition, total understanding, or C, love, compassion, all inclusiveness. That one's simple. Balanced kapha creates, I'm not going to read all those. I think these are really simple. I don't think you'll have any trouble taking this chapter test. According to Ayurveda, dietary habits to avoid include A, overeating, emotional eating, chilled water, eating fruit with a meal. B, eating when not hungry, eating when emotionally disturbed. C, all of the above. I think you know that one. And 31, according to Ayurveda, lifestyle habits to avoid include, oh, this is good. According to Ayurveda, lifestyle habits to avoid include A, walking too early or late, untimely bowel movements, suppression, and natural urges. We'll talk about that a little bit because that one, you know, it took me years until I was like 25 maybe, or even 30 to know what was a timely bowel movement. I just thought a bowel movement was a bowel movement, and you know, whenever you went is when you went, and I didn't really know you were supposed to go every day, twice a day, or even more. Really, in a perfectly healthy body, you go after every meal. But I don't know too many people who do that. Some, but not too many. So let's talk about that. Regularity in sleeping, walking, eating, and elimination, dancing, singing, and karaoke. Okay, so let's talk about the bowel movement thing and walking too early or late. Waking. I see. Waking too early or late. Yeah, so basically when you're off schedule, your body needs to be on a schedule. Vata gets disturbed when we go off schedule, like jet lag. If we wake up one morning at 7, the next morning at 10, our body, the Vata principle in the body will become disturbed. So it's really good to eat your food at the same time, go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. It makes your Vata very happy, and when Vata's happy, everybody's happy. All the doshas basically can be happy. So structure is pretty important to do. That's a pretty big one for me. I work on that one every day. It's a challenge for me to stay structured. But, you know, the bowel movement thing is interesting. I didn't know that you really shouldn't exercise when you're constipated. That was one that was pretty shocking. I thought, well, if I go for a walk and a run, you know, maybe it'll move things around and I'll go to the bathroom. Dr. Ladd said that it actually will push the toxins in the colon deeper into the tissue. So you become more toxic when you exercise. And when you're constipated, you know, you just should not exercise or eat. Both are contraindicated. So an untimely bowel movement would be I just lost my train of thought. I'm thinking of an enema. Should never do an enema on a full stomach. So, yeah, basically the fecal matter will be reabsorbed into the bloodstream if you don't have timely bowel movement. And that is, you know, according to your body, the cycles, the natural biorhythms of the body there's a cleansing period that we go through in the morning. Naturally, you know, our bodies are compelled to have a bowel movement in the morning. If we're aligned in harmony with nature, we will wake up and go to the bathroom. And especially if you wake up at the right time. Sometimes you wake up too late, you missed the cleansing cycle. The body may not have the bowel movement and you may be constipated that day. So, and that explains a lot of jet lag constipation too. So going on a airplane ride will constipate you, and then you go and you're out to dinner after you got off the plane, and all through that week you're eating food that nobody that loved you cooked, so bad food, and you should only eat food that is cooked with love or you cooked yourself. So you're eating out at all these restaurants, and you're probably constipated. And that's why a lot of people get sick when they go away, because they their bodies went off so badly off structure, off the system, and the toxins from the colon were reabsorbed. And when we have toxins floating around the bloodstream and they begin to accumulate, then we build ama, which is toxins, another word for toxins, and then we get sick. The immune system.
I have a question.
Yeah.
My mom has lung cancer, which was removed, and she didn't have to have chemo, and she has severe insomnia and constipation all the time. I've got her on Triphala, and I'm pushing prunes and molasses and all kinds of stuff on her. Is there anything else that's more intense? Because she really, I'm even trying to get her to take X-Lax because I figure it's better to have the chemicals in the X-Lax than it is to have the constipation.
Okay, so the question is, she's at
Laxative.
what? She's a cancer patient, lung cancer patient. At what stage of cancer is she at?
She had stage 2, but they removed the part of the lung that had the cancer, and she didn't need the chemo. But she's still severely constipated, so I'm worried it's just going to come back.
Yeah. So what to do with her? Is she open to colonic irrigation?
Maybe.
Colon hydrotherapy is the first thing I would do because lungs and colon are paired organs, and when one of them is sick, if you strengthen the other one will give strength. They support each other, in other words. So your the colon has just been trying so hard to help those poor lungs that the colon is exhausted. So we need to help the colon because the lungs took a hit. Does that make sense? So the colon is, it has ether and air. That's where vata is. So when you do the law of opposites and you put water in a site of vata where it's ether and air and dry, you're applying the opposites, the like principle, the opposite, what I'm trying to say, it's not coming out right. Principle of opposites. Couldn't get that out. Then you will, the dosha will go home. You'll, make the vata very happy, and it will hydrate the large intestines, and thereby it will strengthen the lungs. And I would go for acupuncture and massage. And what else could she do? Did she have radiation?
No, they didn't need to do that because they got to it quick enough. What can she do? Home enema, water and oil enemas? Because she doesn't have money. That's the big problem.
Yeah, just a little fleet enema. I know there's little fleet saline enemas. She could, then just take out some of that salt water. Use the salt water if she really needs it, because that really will create peristalsis. But if she can go the first round, then don't put salt water because it's a bit shocking to the large intestines, that salt water. She could put in like a tablespoon of sunflower oil or any kind of oil that's organic in there with some warm water and squeeze it in and sit on the toilet, wait. If it doesn't happen, put another bit of warm water in fill it up with a little bit of oil. The oil will keep the friendly bacteria in the colon, so don't skip the oil. The oil will feed the friendly bacteria. Otherwise, you deplete your colon of friendly bacteria when you do colonics too much without oil. So she won't go to colonics, so she doesn't have any money. That's the best thing I can tell you to do. Maybe some castor oil. Yeah, massaging. She could massage all the lung points and colon points on the body, and castor oil on the body topically with heat and massaging the whole intestine. You know how to do massage probably on the belly. Just do this clockwise motion on her belly and she'll go, hopefully. Yeah, stay hydrated. So hope I helped. Okay, so how do you avoid tips to avoid the holidays? Oh, you're going to travel, Donia? Dr. Ladd had a really great tip for traveling. If you have a slice of fresh ginger before you get on an airplane, it will help mitigate all the vatogenic qualities of the airplane. So a slice of fresh ginger, a frice of slush ginger. That's how that came out. You can tell I'm ready for a nap. But if you can't get fresh ginger, then, dried ginger tea would suffice, or a ginger capsule would be okay. But ginger is sort of that magic pill that will help with jet lag and traveling. Okay, Good. Okay, moving on. Wow, this is 41 questions. This is a big one. So I'm just going to sort of jump in. Kapha time of maximum activity. I want to go back to that question 31 because we talked about the bowel movements and I wanted to show you the perfect poop. Remind me to send you that. I don't think I can attach it here, but I wanted to send you the perfect poop PDF by Dr. John Douillard. And it, just in a nutshell, you can look at your poop. If your poop is like pellets, I'll start with vata. Pellets, like little sheep pellets, and they're hard to come out, and air comes out with them, and they're dry and brown, then that is a vata stool. So that you have too much vata in the body, immediately pacify the vata dosha. If you have like a greasy black stool, mucus in the stool, like a thick black stool that sinks to the bottom quickly, that is you have too much kapha. You've eaten too many kaphagenic foods, ice cream, cheese, meat, and any poop that sinks is a sign that the body has toxins. Poop that floats is a sign the body is doing well. If you have poop that is yellow, kind of broken up a little, loose, very smelly, even green, a little bit of green color, it's pitta. So you have had too many spicy chili peppers or spicy, garlic and ginger, onions, and then you'll get that kind of pungent smell and the yellow color and more of a liquefied stool, not completely hard. If you get pure liquid out and, just burning as it comes out, you know that pitta has burned up the stool and it no longer has its form or its integrity. So there's so much fire in the system, it just literally burned the stool so that it liquefied. Then you definitely need to eat very soft and grounding foods, sweet, soft, grounding, binding. Bananas with cardamom will do it. A pinch of cardamom, smushed up banana, will bind the stool. Black coffee with just a pinch of nutmeg will bind the stool if you're in a pinch and you don't have a banana. Or psyllium husk is another binding agent. And but just, in moderation, if you're very sensitive, just a little bit of psyllium will bind it and stop diarrhea. And also applesauce. So a cooked apple, a baked apple, I love baked apples with cinnamon and a little bit of ghee in the middle. The core of the apple, just put it in the oven for 20, 30 minutes. This will bind the stool as well. So it's funny, cooked apples actually can constipate you and bind the stool so much if you have too many, but raw apples will cause you to go to the bathroom. So interesting what apples do when they're cooked and raw. They do the opposite. Okay, let's see if I can read the rest of this before we end. We're just about to end. So a normal stool is brown and yellow, and really 2 stools a day would be normal in this society, in this culture. If you lived in, some Aboriginal culture and you're eating berries and nuts and your own food, you probably would go after every meal because you'd be so healthy. But 2 a day, and should be within the first hour of waking, I should say, and right after lunch. Those are the best. And it's okay to have a mild odor, but the pungent odor is when you have way too much pitta. And the firm stool. So like if it's a skinny little stool but firm, then you know that your colon it's going to be a little bigger, and that there's all these particles that are on the sides of the colon that have been left out. That's why the stool got to slip through them and the rest of it is impacted. You want a good thick stool so that as the stool passes through the colon, it is sweeping all of the colon, everything that has been on the sides of the colon. And then like a big thick stool is when you should start rejoicing. Yay! Okay, so it's funny how happy you can be if you have a good bowel movement. Let's just remind me somebody that I'll send that poop PDF to you because it's really a great chart, really helpful to give your clients. What about poop that floats due to high fat content? I've heard that can sometimes be the case. Maybe high fat, but not so much ama. I don't know that answer. Yeah, I don't know. Ama is definitely heavy. So I don't know, maybe high fat, maybe they needed it and the stool's floating and it was, I would say that wouldn't be ama that's floating. So, yeah, I've never heard of light ama. Most ama is heavy. Sinking because of no ama, Right, it would sink because it's not sinking, you're saying. Yeah, so it's not sinking, it's floating, but you're saying it has, what, too much fat? How do you know that it's too much fat? Fat floats. Yes, it does float. So there's good fats and bad fats. So maybe good fats, maybe somebody's eating really healthy, they need the fat, and they're taking in black cumin seed oil and, good healthy kefir and avocado, and then the stool might float at the top, but because it's sort of the slimy, oily quality that floats, because fat does rise to the surface. So, I had an ex whose poop would always float after a fatty meal. Oh, well, I guess he just wasn't that toxic. He had a pretty good immune system. His liver was able to filter the toxins, and his colon was able to get rid of them. His body was really good at digestion and elimination, I would say, if that makes any sense. And I could be wrong, but that's my guess on that. Okay, so moving on. Perfect poop. And I got through my whole lesson plan except for the 3 laws of nutrition, but I'm going to end on the 3 laws of nutrition. I don't know if I have it here. Food combining. I didn't get to show you Mike's, but I will actually send you the link. So the 3 laws of nutrition, just so I can say I finished my lesson plan. I like to say I finished my lesson plan. Gives me a sense of accomplishment. Law of irrigation, the law of selectivity, and the law of transformation. So that's page 267. And those are really good to know if you're going to be counseling people with food. The 3 laws of nutrition. There's a beautiful picture chart that shows about the digestion, the laws of nutrition, and the digestion around it. It includes the dhatus and the agnis and consciousness. It's pretty cool. So irrigation, circulation of nutrients to the dhatus governed by prana and jathara agni, and the law of selectivity. Each dhatu selects appropriate nutrients governed by tejas and bhutta agni, and the law of transformation of ashtaya into, I can never say that word, shtaya, dhatus, governed by ojas and the dhatu agni. So those are good things to know. Okay, so I finished my lesson plan. I'm very happy about that. We're right on time. It's like 3:33. I'm going to close out this exam. You did really well. You guys are going to pass both exams really well. And I have chapter 8 and 9. They might have merged because I have an old book. I have, I don't know, from this like year 2000. And the chapters are a little bit different. Now I'm just going to show you, if you have your computer open, which you do, open to my website, and I'll actually just send you the link. And then I will feel accomplished. We got to talk a little bit about food combining. Okay, there is the page that is a blog on my website that is written by Michael Dick, who has also written or put his 2 cents in, I'll say, because Glenn Crowther also wrote about this. Where is it? Well, there's a section in the book on food combining, and you'll see a lot of the similarities. You can see how Mike put his 2 cents into the book. But if you look at this and scroll down to this webpage, you'll see it says by Mike Dick, it says, when a diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need. It's an ancient Ayurvedic proverb, and It's really a great little slogan if you want to use it for your practice. And this, if you could read through this, I'm not going to go through it now. I had hopes to go through each one with you, but you can read this on your own, and it is all very, very accurate and mind-opening, insightful. Stuff that you want to maybe even copy and make a handout and give to each of your clients if they want to learn about how to really eat right, because America doesn't really know how to eat right. So these are things that should really be taught at school, like I said, like high school, elementary school, and they're not. Okay, any questions before I close up? Anyone? Is everybody saturated and ready to go have a nap? I'm looking through everybody still here. Okay, let's finish with our chant to the Ganga, the mother. Tim, will you join me? Dede Shrueshwari Bhagavati Gange Tribhuvana Tarini Taralatarange Shankara Moli Viharini Vimale Mama Matirastam Tavapada Kamale Bhagirati Sukadaini Mata Tavajala Mahima Nigame Kyata Naham Jane Tava Mahimanam Trahi Kripa Mahimama Jananam. So thank you, everyone. I'll see you Friday, 2 o'clock. Have a great rest of the night. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.